Good evening, everyone. Welcome to probably the most pointed episode or cabinet meeting for Secretary of Shade. I'm going to let everyone fill in and file in. We have a lot to discuss. This is actually one of the first meetings in a while. I always do research, but this is one of the first meetings in a while where I actually mapped out what I wanted to say, in the sense of I actually made a list of things that I wanted to cover because it's so much to cover. First off, saying hello to everyone. I see you filing in. Thank you for joining. I'm going to wait for everybody to get in shortly, but we have a lot to discuss here tonight. As we all know, this past weekend has been tough for the country in general. As far as the protests, uprising, in regards to the George Floyd case, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, I mean, the list goes on and on. And people are pissed. People are pissed, and rightfully so. I think that what's happening now in this country is, well, there are some opportunists. We're going to put that out there. There are some opportunists. What I think is happening right now is, I think we're looking at the end of the old concept of America, and the beginning of new America. And however you want to place that, or frame that rather, is up to you. But we're definitely facing a new time and a new era. Long story short, a lot of people, the obvious why these protests and uprising happen. Of course, most of us saw the video of George Floyd being murdered in Minneapolis with a knee on his neck, which was tough. And I think it was something that just basically, here's a few things. I'm going to get real. Fuck the Peter Jennings shit and the fucking, CNN shit, because I'm trying to keep it cute, but that ain't me. At the end of the day, bitch, it's a number of variables that contributed to what happened. Not only, the unrest or the murder of George Floyd, but also, too, the people kept it cute about Ahmaud Arbery. The people kept it cute, even though it took them forever to arrest the man who ran him down and killed him on purpose. We kept it cute about Ahmaud Arbery. If we're going to be 100. We kept it cute about that shit. Niggas, I very rarely say that, but niggas kept it cute. Okay? There were a lot of how that was handled. We were like, okay, we've seen this before, we've discussed it. They finally went ahead and arrested the men that killed him. Now, a guilty verdict and proper sentencing, that remains to be unseen. We know how this works. But we kept it cute. We kept it cute about Breonna Taylor. But I feel like in this latest round of police or racially motivated killings, George Floyd was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And the optics of it is several things that play here for me. Not only is the incident and the murder terrible, and how he died terrible, okay? But we got several things at play that some people may have covered, but I'm going to cover them. People are unemployed, and they're pissed. COVID-19 has ended a lot of folks' jobs. They haven't been getting the unemployment. They're frustrated with the government because of that, the local governments. Because of that, some people have still not received the benefits that they pay taxes for. So they're already pissed about that. Second, these same people as a country, and I'm talking about everybody, not just black people, the entire country, people been locked down in their houses with nowhere to go. Okay? Yes, that's vodka. People have been locked in their houses with nowhere to go. So you take the frustration of a pandemic, which a lot of folks can understand. Nobody wants to die from COVID-19. But when you are faced with a government that does not know how to govern on a federal level, you're now dependent on your local government to do the right things, but their systems are so outdated that now the people at the unemployment office are scrambling. There's not enough resources on a local level. They gotta go ahead and bid against other states for shit. That takes a toll. Okay? So now, we're going through this, and this is the backdrop. I'm just painting the picture right now. We're going through all of this. They're talking about these murder mosquitoes coming. People got cabinet fever. They kept it cute with Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery. And then, George Floyd. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And then the thing is, here is the thing. While the Mayor Floyd, who's the mayor of Minneapolis, the mayor where this took place, even though the cops were fired, what people have an issue with is the lack of accountability. I feel like there is a higher standard for the public to respond and act accordingly, and the bar for the police is down here. Now, also, too, and I can only speak for my local police, the BPD, okay? I have, associates or acquaintances, I know police officers. And I'm going to keep it 100. The police been chilling. The police been chilling. And the only thing I can say is here in Baltimore, because the police, when you talk to certain police officers, they say, well, we feel like, if we try to do our job, that, they're going to, they're videotaping us and, they're taunting us. Look, if you do your job correctly, you won't have shit to worry about. As long as we understand if a motherfucker need to be arrested, because they out of order, they done did some shit that's crazy. Okay? We understand that the protocol in which you need to do your job. What people don't understand is the unnecessary use of force. Some of the shit, and I'm going to keep it 100. I'm from West Baltimore. I have seen police officers say some nasty, sideways ass shit to citizens when it is not warranted. It happened. I've seen it happen. Okay? But the thing is, you have to be a professional. When you take that oath of office, or that job, whatever it is, and you ain't a politician, but y'all know what I mean. When you take that oath, and you wear that badge, and you put that gun in your holster, you on my time. You work for me, okay? You work for the public. You are being paid to deliver a certain level of service and be professional doing it. Because guess what? The average American citizen can't go to their job and tell their boss, we not going to work because we feel like you holding our hands tied. We're going to get fired. The average American citizen can't say, oh, they said something that made me mad. So it is call center agents who get treated more harshly for not being polite to customers. It's motherfuckers, anybody that worked at MCI, Verizon, any one of them call centers, you know you rude to a customer, your ass is getting rolled up, pulled up, and you might even get fired for telling that lady to pay a bill that she knows she owed. So if people on that level can get reprimanded for doing their job, I don't understand why the police can't be held accountable for doing the job that they're being paid to do. Especially in my city. And I can only speak about my city. But we have quite a few officers just off overtime who were making over $100,000 a year. They were making more than publicly elected officials, bitch. Okay? So do your job. That is your job. And I know y'all was mad because y'all had to go out this weekend in this hot-ass weather and deal with protesters. But guess what? Especially Baltimore City Police, y'all been chilling for a while. So that y'all ain't do nothing but earn the check and earn the money that y'all was basically stealing, okay, this whole time. Because when I look at this murder rate, while the politicians do bear responsibility for it, they're politicians. It's no reason. You know where the problem areas are. You know what's going on. Y'all know some of these neighborhoods better than people that lived here their whole life. Do your job. Post Freddie Gray in Baltimore, the fucking crime rate has been terrible. And you know why? Because, if we can't bash your skull in, we ain't doing shit. And I'm not saying this off of no opinion that off of some shit that I just think. I've heard this rhetoric. You understand? So this ain't some shit that I just made the fuck up. Like, I've heard police say this shit. So when you have a president that says, once you start looting, once the looting starts, the shooting starts, like, bitch, that was y'all call to action. We ain't stupid. And I think that we need to have that discussion. I do think, and Killer Mike, who is on my short list of being one of the new leaders. You got folks like Killer Mike, Tamika Mallory, you know what I'm saying, that are out here that really are really great voices. Keisha Lance Bottoms, Lori Lightfoot. I mean, she hit some static, but I fuck with Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago. Keisha Lance Bottoms, I think she did a great job. She did what she could do. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, now I can't speak to Atlanta because I don't live in Atlanta. I don't know shit about in Atlanta. It ain't my territory. The only thing that was interesting to me was being from the outside looking in as a black person, you do often hear Atlanta has a lot of black-owned businesses. Atlanta has a lot of, like, we doing good. Like, Atlanta low-key is the black capital of America. So it was a little surprising to see the folks in Atlanta going off in regards to that. But the thing is this, and that takes me into my next point, because the protesting. Now, a lot of riots or looting and things like that have broken out, right? And there's this talk, and we have seen video. We've seen video, so this shit is not... I don't like to entertain conspiracy theories a lot because that's just not what I do, even though I have my own personal beliefs. That's just not what I do. Okay? But you can't help but notice the video of law enforcement professionals out of uniform, people who are trained to instigate shit, starting property damage. Now, I'm not going to say, okay, I'm not going to say that the average citizen is not out here participating in the lootings and things like this, is not doing that. Because it's on film. We see motherfuckers running in the Gucci and Moncler store. It is a given. But the average citizen ain't gonna spark no shit. Let's go through the mind of the average black person, okay? Let's go through the mind of the average black person. Number one, you out here protesting, you want your voice to be heard. But the average black person, unless they really going off, ain't just going to randomly spark off kicking in the CNN windows, bitch. Even though we under duress. The average black person is not going to just jump on a cop. They ain't going to spark that shit off, necessarily. And we will follow up. Like, we ain't going to spark it, but we'll tee off on that motherfucker after shit go down. So I'm not going to absolve us from participating after the fact. But when I look at some of this footage of the people who are starting the instigating, and then when I hear reports, and I talk to friends, I didn't go out and protest on the lines. I'm not in the best of health. And COVID's going on. I ain't doing it. Sorry. I didn't go. Crucify me, say whatever the fuck you want to, but bitch, I ain't got it. I support you, but I ain't got it. But hearing back from friends, and people who do this work, people who really do this work out in these streets, right? And then like, DDM, I noticed people that was just acting wild and reckless, and I didn't recognize them. And this is in Baltimore. I noticed little pockets of people doing shit, and they wasn't with 300 men, or they wasn't, known in the area. Like, somebody, these people. Okay? And then, like, they started doing shit, and what would happen from a lot of the reports, and this has been corroborated around the country, is that you would have the people who do this, do the real work, want to see change or protesting for the right reasons. They now have to engage with people who are not out there for the right reasons. Okay? They now arguing with these people because they want to do violence. Let me tell you something. And this is for the white folks. Love y'all to death, right? Even though sometimes you tried. Please don't co-opt nobody's struggle for your own agenda. Okay? Now, you may be upset at your government. You may be pissed off. You may feel that, because shit is different now, because it ain't just black people that's poor or Hispanic people or people of color, okay? It's a lot of poor white folks in the country right now. It's a lot of them people waiting on $1,200, okay? Now, just because you mad about not getting your $1,200 or your unemployment or your extra $600, don't mean you take all of that frustration, because we gotta learn to separate the two. Like, bitch, you not mad. Are you mad because George Floyd got killed, bitch? Are you just mad at the system? Like, why are you really out here for the reasons that we out here? We out here because we want to live. We out here because we tired of the bullshit. We out here because I myself as a black man, especially as a plus size, bigger black man, I am constantly self-policing how I talk. I don't even like to raise my voice, which is hard to believe considering these lives, bitch. But in a professional setting, I don't even like to raise my voice too loud or speak too passionately about something, because then I'm aggressive. I'm abrupt. You have, as a white person in America, you have no clue what that's like to constantly be self-policing yourself. Constantly self-policing yourself. Okay? In regards to how you're perceived. Black people constantly are dealing with optics and how we are viewed. it dates back all the way back to slavery. That is a curse that we have been placed under. We're constantly worried about how we look. And that brings me to this. What about black on black crime? Now, like any group, we have work to do, black people. We have work to do. But there's a time and a place for these conversations. And right now, at this moment, was not the time to talk about what about black on black crime. Because let me tell you something here. As much as we as black people hate being stereotyped, we love to stereotype each other. You will never, ever hear white people talking about their people in such a blanket way when one or a few of their folk show their ass. You'll never hear it. They'll say, you know what they'll say? We'll say, damn, black people, why can't y'all just act right? Why can't y'all? You know what they'll say? Ted Bundy was crazy. They'll say, that right-wing militia group in Wisconsin on 5th Avenue by the Walmart is psycho. Notice the attention to detail and the distinction? They're never going to blanket their people when their people show their ass. Ever. But we love to do it, though. You say, well, why? I'm preaching tonight. I'm sorry. You say, why do you there's different ways to do it. Guess what? When Kaepernick was kneeling, niggas was still watching the Super Bowl. Myself included. I ain't gonna act holier than thou. We were still watching sports. Matter of fact, some people was laughing at Kaepernick. He's still doing that shit. He's still doing his little protests or whatever. You know, I mean, I'm with Kaepernick and all, but you know, the players still gotta get paid. So when people try to do things the right way, please keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. Okay? And as a black person, I know you may, and I shared this on my Facebook timeline, and it's a story that I want to, because some people may not have seen it, but I want to share it. Just a summary of it. I know you're enjoying, and this is to my black folks who this applied to. I know you enjoy and are enjoying your proximity to whiteness. I know, it feels great to feel accepted, to feel like you're on the same level, to feel like you're on the same page. And you don't want to face that. You don't want to face the issue. You don't want to have to deal with that. God damn it. You're on Bravo, for Christ's sakes, Nene. You don't want to deal with it. But guess what? I'm going to tell you a story. When I came out the closet, and I shared this on my Facebook, I was very upset with how some black people, because and this is a lesson I learned, I'm willing to use my own flaw. I'm going to use my own flaw as a testimony as to why you should always have your folks back. I used a blanket statement for when I came out the closet, right? And I was like, black people are so terrible to me. Why they been so... And quite a few black people were terrible to me. Don't get it fucked up. But I used that as a blanket statement. And then I started to write off all black people. I was like, oh, they're just homophobic. They don't know what's going on. And I'm out here, and there's nothing wrong with a rainbow flag because, be clear, the gay rights revolution was started by two people of color, Marsha P. Johnson being one of them, okay? But then gay marriage happened. And what I noticed was, once these same men who were, yes, we're all family, we're this, we're that, yes, darling, come on, sweetheart. Once they got their rights, they just became white men who happened to be gay. But they were white men first, honey. And once they were able to pass that money down, get their partners on their health insurance, get the tax benefits and all of that, we weren't useful to them anymore. And I felt the difference in how I was treated in the same places that I would frequent. And I couldn't quite understand why at first. Why the Pride celebration was being moved out of Mount Vernon. Why we couldn't go, or it was this air when you would go into the Eagle or places like that. Why was this kind of vibe? Never give up on your people. And never get so comfortable and so out of touch with what's going on with home that you lose yourself. Because when you lose yourself, your people going to be the one that's there that's left. I know sometimes they may not always do it right. And black people do have a lot of work to do. But there's a time and a place to have that discussion. Right now is not the time, honey. Now, as far as your president, Trump. Trump is a polarizing and interesting figure. And here's why. Because Donald Trump, believe it or not, and this is my personal opinion, in my opinion, represents the end of America as it was. See, prejudice, violence, segregation, ignorance, bias, all of those things, they don't leave quietly. Okay? Violence is not a lady. Okay? So what you're seeing from this president, what you're seeing from... Ooh, that was a quote, bitch. Violence is not a lady. I gotta put that on a t-shirt. What you're seeing from this president and his supporters is the last stand, bitch. Because when you look at, and this is why I implore you, shameless plug, fill out your census. I know they get on your nerves calling you every goddamn 5 minutes. They knocking on your door. They sending you all this mail and shit. Nobody even check physical mail no more. You should be able to just go online and do it. I think they might have that, but I don't know. Fill out your census. Because the reality is this. Even that electoral college map, that shit is old. That shit is outdated. And Trump and his supporters represent an old way of thinking in America. Okay? And like I said, violence is not a lady, and they are not going to go quietly into the night. What you're seeing is people become irrational because they are so threatened at losing the upper hand. They are terrified of losing the upper hand. Whatever the upper hand may be. That's what you're seeing. That's why it's all of these rash, knee-jerk decisions being made. All of these, judge appointments being sped through and shit. They're trying to hold on to a power structure that really they're becoming a minority in. And like I said, these are all my opinions. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at the faces and what America really looks like, if you take a look at this country, ride around, look at different states, America does not look like mostly Lucille Ball anymore. America looks like Kerry Washington. America looks like fucking Kamal Nanjiani. America looks like Issa Rae. America does look like Nicole Kidman still. But it don't just look like that no more. So, if I wake up one day and I'm like, shit, we can't pull fast on these motherfuckers no more. They getting smart. They outnumbering us. They here. And that's the sad part. The conversation isn't, well, how can we work together? The conversation is, how can I stay at this table longer? Because here's the perfect analogy. White supremacy in America is like going into a restaurant when it's empty and you the only patron there. So you get to take your time. You get to get a dessert. You get to get an appetizer. The wait staff, they all nice. Everybody trying to get your table. But that was 7 o'clock in the morning, sis. Now it's noon. It's lunchtime. It's a rush. You can't just sit there and yakka, 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 talka, whoosha, 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 no more. We need that table. So now it's a 30-minute time limit on you taking in this meal, sis. Because we got to turn this table over. We got more customers to serve. You're not the only customer in this restaurant anymore. Okay? So now, and I'm preaching tonight, I know. So now, because you're not the only patron in this restaurant anymore, you're now saying that the same restaurant that you ate in and got to sit in, now it has bad customer service. It needs to be changed. The restaurant is America, honey. So now, we've got to reprimand America. We've got to reprimand this restaurant. Because they're not giving me the same service that I'm used to. Revenge is a dish best served cold. And I'm sorry that you sat there long enough for your food to get cold. But it's time to move on. Now, I want to talk about potential new leaders. Okay? Because we have some voices. Killer Mike, I really, and I don't like the bandwagon hop. But Killer Mike, I love his mind. I love how he thinks. I love his approach. And I think he's one of the, even though I think he doesn't want to be, I don't think he's going to really have a choice soon. But Killer Mike is becoming one of our chief voices for Black America. Of Black America. And I saw a level of honesty when he made a speech about the protests and looting in Atlanta. I saw a level of honesty, sincerity, and accountability that I had not seen before. Okay? And I think with Killer Mike, he is on a trajectory to really be that next voice, that next leader, that next conduit. Because a lot of the older girls, they tired. They done. They tired. Not only are they tired, but they done. Like, how many times we gonna keep calling Jesse Jackson? How many times? How many times we gonna keep calling Al Sharpton? Like, they tired. They over it, bitch. They ready to retire and get their check. Only person that's probably gonna outlive everybody is probably two people. Cicely Tyson and Diana Ross, because them two hoes, them two birds, they just outliving anybody. And I don't mean to call them hoes, they're not hoes. Forgive me. But Cicely Tyson gonna be here when the nuclear bombs drop. She gonna outlive the roaches, bitch. I'm just saying. Okay? New leaders. Tamika Mallory. I came across her, and I'm not going to say that I was super familiar with her work, but I came across her work. And I was like, sis, about that. Like, it is something about the voice of a black woman. The black woman's voice is the voice of mother. It's the voice of home. It is the voice of discipline. It is the voice of accountability. And I think that when I started getting into Tamika Mallory, and you can look up on Instagram, Tamika D. Mallory, right? I felt energized in a way that I hadn't in a while. And I think we need that. We understand that, hey, black people are not monolithic, right? We're all different. We all have different ways of doing things, all shades of life. And we need leaders for us that reflect who we are now. Not who we were in 65, not who we were in 35, not who we were in 85, bitch. We need people who understand the black experience as it was, as it is, and where it's going. And that's why I say we need new leadership. And I will say this. In watching those protests, I think had we had better leadership, we wouldn't have seen some of the violence. Because see, a lot of our kids, a lot of our kids and a lot of our young people, they don't know the first thing about like protesting and shit like that. They going out there, they're like, all right, we're going to go here. But usually in past decades and years, there was always leaders. There was always a leader in every goddamn state, in every major city. There was a leader that showed you how to do this. Shout out to Catalina Bird, mayoral candidate. She said something that hit hard. She said, a lot of the real leaders died, and the ones that's here didn't groom successors. And she was motherfucking right. She was right. Because that's what was missing in these protests. And that's why some of these agitators, some of these reckless, younger white far lefts and white supremacists, they were able to do this shit and able to incite some of the shit that they were doing. And like I said, I'm not absolving black people from the looting and shit, because I know y'all was hitting up that Gucci store, bitch. I love a Gucci moment, bitch. I love Louis Vuittons, Chanel's, and all of that. I know y'all was going ham. So we ain't even going to sit and fake the funk like you wasn't. But a lot of that violence and insight and all of that shit, had we had real leaders on the ground, I think that things would have probably went a different way. And I could be wrong. Let's be clear. I could be wrong. Okay? I could be wrong. But that's just how I feel, bitch. Now, I didn't want to go into this next piece because after this meeting, y'all, I'm unplugging. Y'all may see me posting about TV shows and shit Sweet Magnolias and shit, because I need an escape, bitch. I need a Marvel film like no other. After this goddamn weekend, god damn it. My good brother, my good friend, my family, Dominique Morgan. If you're not following him on Facebook, his name's Dominique Morgan with a Q-U-E, not an I-C. I've shared a few of his videos. I think he's phenomenal. He does great work with his organization, Black and Pink. And he's based in Omaha, Nebraska. It's black people in Nebraska, bitch, for some of those who didn't know, right? So, he shares he basically, because he's in Omaha, he shares information. He's very active cases. But I'm just going to share this news. A young black protester by the name of James Scurlock was shot dead outside a bar in Omaha, reportedly by a white man, as unrest across the nation engulfed the Nebraska city. The Omaha World Herald identified the slain man as 22 years old, James Scurlock. He was shot twice in the neck. Police said Sunday that an unnamed suspect, which we know who the suspect name is at this point, and I'm going to get to that, in the shooting was in custody, but provided no details about what led to the killing, except to say officers were not involved. Police Chief Todd Schmaderer called it a terrible incident. Investigators are in the process of reviewing all collected evidence, video, witness interviews, and conferring with the Douglas County Attorney's Office. Video from KETV showed medics lifting a gurney into an ambulance while protesters milled about. The station reported that some in the crowd burst past the police line and the police then fired tear gas. The shooting happened near a popular night spot called The Hive, which received a warning last year after the owner allegedly refused to cooperate with police investigating a possible assault inside. Now, word on the street is this man that owns this place is fucking homophobic, racist, the whole Chappelle. He's like a full deck bitch. If he plays spades, he's what we call a Boston, okay? Friends of Scurlock gathered near the spot where he was shot, now roped off with yellow police tape. Local officials, meanwhile, rushed to address a social media post that was circulating in which a man wearing a law enforcement uniform appeared to comment on the shooting by writing, "Good, shoot them all." The Omaha Police Department quickly pointed out the person who supposedly made the post was not wearing one of their uniforms, and the Douglas County Corrections Department later said the person depicted was a former corrections officer who was on a payroll for less than 3 months in 2019. So, bitch, this was a former CO who was egging this on. And the thing that is crazy about this, right, is that you would think that people would have a little bit more tact in regards to this, especially with what's going on. But it's like people don't even care. It's like, at least try to, like, keep it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least try to I don't know. And this kid, he's 22. He looks like he can't even lift over 50 pounds. Like, he looks like he's fucking 110 pounds soaking wet. You know? And it was unnecessary. And then you wonder why people act the way that they do. But I just wanted to address that and say his name. But as we close out, because I feel like I preached tonight, and I ain't even a pastor. As we close out, I challenge everyone to keep doing the work, keep talking about it, hold people accountable. But I think as we head into this Sunday night and tomorrow, if you can afford to do it, decompress, unplug, take a woo-sigh motherfucking moment, bitch. Okay? And just reset. Allow yourself to reset. Allow yourself to breathe. Because you can get so frustrated and so mad that you forget to breathe. And we want to take this time to breathe because George can't. Ahmaud can't. Breonna can't. So we want to take this time to breathe because we still can. Philando can't. Freddie can't. Sandra can't. Eric can't. Take this time to breathe, have a moment of self-care, and reflect. Like Killer Mike said in his speech, strategize. How do we move forward? How do we act upon this? Think about that. Now, if you're in, yes, I did use my reading rainbow voice, bitch, because I wanted you to breathe. Now, before I get out of here, on June the 2nd, we're having we have an election here where we're voting in the primary for presidential city council seats and shit like that. I am going to publicly endorse for my district city council, Philip Westry. I went ahead and voted for him. But I want to give a shout out to Baltimore Votes and Black Girls Votes, okay? Because they have this cool idea. I wish I had thought of it. I got my hands in so many pots. I wish I had thought of this. They did a party at the mailbox box, okay? I think it's the coolest fucking thing ever. So, this is a box that teaches you how to fill out your ballot, locations of where to drop off your ballot if you haven't received your ballot. It's like the best thing ever. And it comes with snacks for you to celebrate. For those of you from Baltimore, you already know a burger's cookie is like another. It comes with crab chips, party favors buttons, and even a t-shirt. It comes with a t-shirt, right? For you to celebrate voting. Which I think is so freaking cool. So freaking cool, right? Baltimore Votes. I love it. So, my citizens in Baltimore, and shout out to Baltimore Votes and Black Girls Vote for getting this to be really freaking fast. Make sure you vote. Make sure you have your ballot postmarked because all of this protesting and shit, bitch, you gotta do the work, bitch. Okay? So make sure you fill out your ballot and you vote. And make sure that it's postmarked by June the 2nd. But if you somebody like me, I ain't got time to be playing with the post office. You can also go down to 417 East Fayette Street, and you can drop your ballot off at the Board of Elections. Now, just a few things. Make sure you are using a black pen. Make sure that you sign the back of your envelope. If you do not sign the back of your envelope, then there will be null and void. If you receive the envelope that says you need a copy of your ID, make a copy of your ID, bitch. They not playing. Put it inside the envelope, okay? If you are a person who is watching this and you are disabled for whatever reason and you need somebody to assist you with your ballot, for whatever reason, make sure that they fill out the voter assistance form and it is filled out and put inside of your envelope and you mail it off, okay? And that's all I have to say. I'm going to go watch Sweet Magnolias and eat my dinner and have the rest of this cocktail. I want you guys to be blessed. Thank you for joining me. I feel like this was a great, not only great way to unpack for me. Like, you guys, like, this is great for me. But I hope that, you know, you guys gain something for it. If you're not following me on social media, make sure you can do that at Dapper Dan Midas. So Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Dapper Dan Midas. If you need the YouTube, we have an official YouTube address now, www.youtube.com/Secretary of Shade. Make sure you hit the bell at the top for notifications. You guys have a great evening, a stellar week. Be safe, get out the vote, and y'all have a great night. Peace and love.